Don't
All right,
so
so it is the girls only edition because we're currently playing a man down tonight.
Yeah, Andrew was sitting on the glass watching the Red Wings play, I think, the Islanders.
Yeah, he's on the Islanders side, so I'm just gonna say he's an Islanders fan today.
And he's not even here to defend himself. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the AHL Pre-Show. It's just me and Sam tonight. How you doing, Sam?
Well, I could be better, but we're here.
Story of my life. It's been a rainy day here in the greater Houston area, but it's not going to stop us, I guess.
It's just been really cold in Pennsylvania all day. It
Well,
can't decide. It can't. The weather doesn't know what it wants to be. So
that's what you get for living in Pennsylvania. I don't know what to tell you.
yeah, I know. Unfortunately.
All right, where do you want to start? We got some AHL stuff to look forward to. We got some stuff to talk about that we're excited about. What you got?
I mean, Cleveland and Hershey. I think they play Friday night. Let's go with that.
Yeah, according to the AHL.com, they play Friday, Saturday.
Oof.
Yeah,
Double
Friday
whammy.
and Saturday. No, they're both at the top of their respective divisions. They're battling it out for like the top position in the East, which is fun. Hershey expected, but Cleveland, how about those monsters?
I mean, I'm not gonna, I didn't have a Cleveland being this good on my bingo card this year, but let's roll with it.
Yeah, I'm not sure anybody did. You want to talk about what they're doing right out there in Ohio?
Everything?
I mean, I know they're battling through
Injuries right now.
yeah, Columbus having a lot of injuries, so their roster is just kind of depleted. Yeah.
They did just sign an ECHL player, which, I work in the ECHL, so I know some of these names. Nolan Walker. Hopefully he can translate his game from the ECHL to the AHL, and I think he will. He actually just, I believe, hit 100 pro points the other week.
Very nice. And of course, they're going up against the AHL powerhouse that is the Hershey Bears.
Yeah.
Talking about a team that does everything, right? It seems like they're so tight on.
They're never not bad.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen the Bears be anything less than a contender, right? Winningest franchise in the league, aren't they? They're the Habs of the AHL.
Sure. Let's go with that.
Yeah, they do everything right too, though. I mean, they're so tight on the forward line, the defensive line. Their goaltending has been top notch as well for a while. Their coaching is incredible. Their coaching
Todd
staff,
Nelson,
yeah,
an amazing coach.
just adapting. So that's gonna be a fun. I think that's gonna be a fun little weekend series. Yeah, especially because Cleveland is outscoring Hershey currently, but they're also getting scored on more than Hershey is. So it'll be a fun little chaos matchup, I think.
I think I might tune into one. I don't know. I have a 3-3 this weekend, so we'll see.
Moving right along to fun matchups, Chicago and Iowa. What did you call Chicago and Iowa?
Oh, it wasn't me. It was Andrew.
No. He called it the cripple fight. You called it...
I didn't call it anything.
The blind leading the blind?
Oh, yeah, the blind lead. That's what I call it. The blind leading the blind.
You want to expand on that?
Well, when two teams are equally as bad, that's what I typically call it, the blind leading the blind. So
I don't know what's going on in Iowa. I know Chicago is going through it right now.
I mean, they have anti-Rantas, so
that's fun.
Oh, wait, don't they have Anthony D'Angelo too?
It's a really good question. Let's look that up real quick. This guy here. Sorry, I don't type so fast on my phone.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You know, as Andrew said, he is the master of the penalty kill. So we have to operate a man down, and we're on the penalty kill all night here.
Oh, looks like D'Angelo's with Carolina.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything else about Chicago and Iowa? We'll come back to these guys when we throw some hot takes on the wire a little bit later. What you got?
The Ice Hogs are currently 9-1 in their last 10 games.
Also, truly something I never thought coming.
As Andrew calls them, hot hogs.
The Ice Hogs are one of those like hot and cold teams where you get like a little bit of.
They always have been too.
Yeah, I get a little bit of flashes of brilliance from the Ice Hogs, and then they change their mascot, and he looks even more terrifying than he did to begin with. And then the mascot gets bullied on social media, and then they're good at hockey for a little while, and then the next season starts.
I'm sorry, but the most terrifying mascot out there is Boy from Seattle Kraken.
Yeah.
I get nightmares looking at him.
It's I don't yeah. It's like a child's teddy bear that's been dragged behind a U-Haul on a cross-country move.
Oh, I just Ow! That hurt. Oh my god. The night Andrew misses.
We're maiming ourselves. We're injuring ourselves. We're dragging our teddy bears across the country. They're missing ears.
Poking
Yeah,
eyes.
I've never seen a mascot that looks like it came from a Tim Burton movie, and like that's what the Kraken said. They said make it scary.
I mean, at least their AHL team's mascot is, normal.
Normal.
Fuego.
Speaking of mascots, you know what a dumb looking mascot is? We're switching leagues here. The Atlanta Braves mascot is named Blooper. Have you seen Blooper?
No.
If you haven't, you should look Blooper up. He looks like a baseball bat, kinda.
Well, I mean, checks out.
He's like tan for some reason.
I still to this day don't know what Gritty is.
I'm not sure Gritty knows what Gritty is. Gritty's just Gritty. I think is the official party line from the Flyers.
Speaking about the Flyers organization, their AHL team is trying to make playoffs, and Springfield is currently tanking at the right time. They lost last night.
Springfield lost.
Yeah, on what was the NHL Network? It was on there, and it's a running.
They lost on national television.
They did.
That's incredible.
Usually it's the other way around, where Lehigh loses, but
they were playing Lehigh. That the segue now makes sense because I was really confused. I thought I was going to have to explain the existence of the St. Louis Blues to you for a second.
No.
Okay. But the segue makes sense now.
Springfield is tanking at just the right time. Anyway, they just recently had a forward return from injury, and he notched his second professional career hat trick. So go, Mr. Lazinski.
Yeah. You can expand on that if you would like. I'm not going to limit you to 500 words or less.
I'm not sure what the injury was. He was out for quite a while. Again, not my beat, so I don't keep up with it anymore. But yeah, he was out for quite a while. I saw him play actually his first game back in Wilkes-Barre last Wednesday. And yeah, he looked good. So it's good to see him back and have him back in action, and obviously add to the Phantoms playoff run here.
Interesting.
And then another matchup, or a couple matchups that are going to be happening is Pacific versus Central. Henderson and Milwaukee, Texas and Coachella, and Abbotsford and Manitoba are all playing each other.
Which is always interesting to see, especially like if you're in the same conference but different divisions. It's always really fun. Interconference play is always really fun to me.
Yeah, because I mean
At least.
you're seeing the same teams over and over and over and over again. It kind of gets boring. So that's why I like when we play like the North teams. I mean, the same conference, but obviously, like I said, different divisions. And then we obviously play. Well, Cleveland is North. Never mind.
One of the things I love about the AHL though is that the teams have some kind of say in what their schedules look like. So they could really avoid playing the same people over and over again, and yet they don't.
I believe it was Hershey played Iowa. They went out to Iowa this season at some point.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool to see.
Like the Rocket play out of conference all the time, but it's like Abbotsford and Manitoba. They really like playing the Canadian teams and Utica for some reason.
I mean, Utica's at the bottom, so like I get it.
Speaking of like the Rocket though, a couple of things, right? They've strung some wins together. They've kind of figured it out. Sort of. They're not far.
Kind of.
Yeah, they're not far behind everybody making a playoff push in the North. They're still second to last in the division, but they're not far behind. They're at what, like 62 points, and then like the next three teams are like 65 or something like that.
Isn't it the top 5 from that division make playoffs?
Something like that. There's a lot of North teams that go into the playoffs, but yeah, they're not that far behind. They're doing that thing where they start out like meh, and then they get really bad, and then they decide they want to try to make the playoffs again. So they string some wins together.
They're like, hey guys, let's hurry up.
They're like, hey, do you remember how we can play hockey sometimes? But they are sitting at like 985 penalty minutes. They are playing Laval Rocket hockey. Yeah, it's crazy. That's wild. That's almost 1,000.
I don't think Lehigh Valley is far behind them.
That's almost 1,000.
I know, that's crazy. That's insanity. Oh my god, I don't care about anything else. I just want the pins.
You gotta watch out. You're gonna maim yourself again.
I know. I just give me stats. That's all I want right now. I don't want skater stats.
Just want team stats, please.
Just give me team stats. Sure. Yeah. Lehigh Valley. They're not far behind. They're at 983.
Love that. We just need to let them play and see the battle of the goons.
Oh my god! Like literally, they're 2 points apart.
I mean, that's the thing about the Rocket.
Sorry.
They're always a really penalized team. Like they're an incredibly highly penalized team. They don't have discipline, but whatever. It's Laval Rocket hockey.
Tucson is third at 977.
Interesting. The Roadrunners, huh? Must be all the Coyotes.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Never would think Tucson to be fighting, but okay.
I see. So the Rocket are playing the Senators this weekend, and also the Marlies. So those are two teams that they have a lot of really bad blood with.
Yeah, you guys can easily make that up.
I think they're hitting 1,000. See, what is that? I can't do math, so.
Yeah, so Wilkes-Barre plays Syracuse Friday. Sorry. I don't
So
see
across 3 days, the Rocket only need 15 pims to hit 1,000.
easy.
Yeah, it's a couple of minors and like a game misconduct. They got this.
But speaking of Wilkes-Barre, Joel Blomqvist.
Yeah, how about him,
Last
huh?
I know it's going backwards, but netting his or not netting, but gaining his first ever shutout. Um, the coach said we owed like the team owed him this, and good for him. He's been phenomenal for them between the pipes all season long. He is going to be an absolute menace when he gets up to the NHL.
But this is an excellent time to remind everybody of my favorite mantra, and that is goalies take time to develop.
Yes.
Which
And
is something so interesting. Like, so obviously, we are aware the Montreal Canadiens are terrible, right? However, Caden Primo has been outstanding for them. Like, you're finally seeing the results of all of that patience and development, like, pay off when he's goaltending, and yet they still keep playing Montembeault, and I don't understand it. First of all, Sam Montembeault doesn't look like a Samuel to me. He looks like a Gabrielle, so that's what I call him. Like a
okay, just go off. Great
yeah,
content.
but yeah, no, like it takes goalies a while to develop. Primo's been playing professional hockey for how long now? And finally is kind of looking like he's spent any time developing. You know, just my weekly PSA that goalies take a while to develop.
Oh, 100%. And I've had some Pens fans not instant, direct message me on Twitter and been like, hey, is Blomqvist ready? I said, no, nowhere near. You're going to be throwing him to the Wolves. He has no NHL games under him. He's gotten called up once and didn't play. No,
Yeah,
he's not ready.
he's kind of a younger guy too, right?
He's 22.
Yeah, so he's a baby in goalie terms. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Mm.
we're gonna have to get look just because he looks good in the AHL right now. Let him become a god in the AHL before you like let him be the guy where you're like, oh yeah, we're nobody's scoring on him tonight. You
And
know?
they have Jari, and I know people have their reservations about Tristan Jari, but he's fine. He does the job. And they also have Nedeljkovic. So
I think the issue, okay, listen, this is NHL and we're an AHL podcast, but the issue, people are so hard on Tristan Jari because they're used to, like, Pens fans got so used to Marc-Andre Fleury. That's the only reason anybody is hard on Tristan Jari. Sure, he does stupid things, but so does, like, Yusei Saros, and nobody has a problem with Yusei Saros because he backed Pecorine up. Whereas, Jari came in after the fiasco with Fleury and
sorry.
Matt Murray. You know what I mean?
Yep. I mean, a little off topic, but you're frozen. Anyway, no, now you're not. Okay. Saros is actually one of my favorite NHL goalies. But
I love him. He's so good. I mean, he
and for
makes
being
silly.
and for being a smaller goaltender, his athleticism shows through.
He makes silly mistakes, but I mean, all goalies do. They don't anticipate things correctly. And that's my big complaint about Saros is that he tends to get caught behind his net really easily. But other than that, but again, nobody has a problem with Saros taking over for Rene because he backed him up. I don't think we would have had the same issue if the Penguins had given up on Matt Murray as quickly or sooner than they did to have Jari come in and back up their franchise goalie.
I agree.
Anyway, goalies take a long time to develop.
They do.
Right.
But in good news for goalies who have developed, it's
Are
been a really
developing.
weird year. You see a lot of teams put a lot of players on waivers that haven't played in the AHL in some time. And Cal Peterson, I believe, played last season in the AHL, but also saw NHL time. In his last 6 starts for the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, he now has a 1.97 goals against average and a 91 save percentage in his last 6 games. So he's doing better. But the AHL is kind of where he needs to be for the remainder of his contract. I just don't think he can translate what he does in the A to the NHL. But
And
again,
again, that's so fine. Like, that's so fine. Like, if that's the level of professional hockey you're capable of playing, dude, you are still playing professional freaking hockey.
exactly.
Like, again, allow me to also reiterate my quarterly PSA on the AHL is not a punishment. It's not a demotion. It is just a place for you to play hockey. It's a place to house players. It's a place to develop young players. Sometimes your game, you lose a step in your game, you go play in the AHL, but they want you there because you're instrumental in developing young players. I mean, you gotta have a certain number of veterans on your AHL roster. Anyway,
6.
exactly. You have to have like it's not a valid roster if you don't. So you might as well, take players who are maybe aging faster than their contracts are expiring and use them to develop your younger players. Again, it's not a demotion for anybody. It's playing to the correct level of professional hockey. And there's nothing wrong with that because you know what? You're still playing more professional hockey than I've ever played.
And and I'll hear people, just being just for ECHL, like I'll hear people, oh, he's in the ECHL, oh, he's in the SPHL. I'm like, further than you ever got.
It's still more professional hockey than I've ever played. Like,
Exactly.
like I don't know what you want from me. Like
It's
I'm like
still the same level of play.
like it's I don't know. Again, quarterly PSA. But just because it's not the NHL does not make it any less valid.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Um,
Uh Speaking of less valid though, California needs to figure their teams out, hey?
mm, just a smidge. San Jose, San Diego. Um, blink twice if you're okay.
Right, honestly, like what is happening? What's happening in the sands? Exactly.
I don't know. I wish I did.
I mean, on the bright side though, like at least like at least the Barracuda kind of just match the Sharks exactly.
Yeah.
Like, did you what was it? Did you watch the Sharks and the Blackhawks? That was
No.
it was a dumpster fire. That's just basically yeah, it was a dumpster fire. That was the Tank Bowl.
Yeah, and I believe Mackenzie Blackwood just came off IR and they just sent Krona back this morning. So I'm
So
sure
it's not.
Miss Tessa will be happy about that to be back at home.
But yeah, so the birds and the fish apparently need to get it together. Why are they just like always the worst? Like we've talked about it before, like it shouldn't be this bad. They have incredible players in their system.
They do.
Like incredible players in their system. They just what's the disconnect, do you think?
Coaching. And I hate saying that because there's good coaches out there. I don't know. I think it's coaching, to be honest.
Coaching. Do you think it might possibly be like a culture mindset kind of thing.
It could be, yeah, because like I know, for example, with San Jose, like they're right there with their parent team, so a lot of the guys get sent up and then get sent back, and just it kind of boggles the mind of some of them.
Yeah. 'Cause I'm hesitant. I don't know. Coaching probably to some extent, but you gotta think about like how much does like the culture, the mindset of everything kind of play into it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the Barracuda, Akeem Alou is on a PTO with them, notably one of the founders of the Hockey Diversity Alliance for the NHL. He's on a PTO with them.
Good for him.
Yeah. See,
It's always good to see players who advocate for something have good things happen to them.
yeah, and he's been out of the like spotlight, I guess. Not really spotlight, but like playing in North America for a second, I believe. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
I
see.
know that while you're looking that up, I know Andrew, who is sitting in the penalty box right now. um,
Hmm.
I know he doesn't want Chicago to lose, but in case they do tomorrow night, the Admirals will clinch a playoff berth with any kind of loss from well,
It was.
with a Chicago loss of any kind at Iowa.
That's true. Speaking of clinching, the Firebirds can clinch on Friday if they get a point at Bakersfield, or if San Diego loses. And at this point, I'm pretty sure that happens. So
I'm pretty
good
sure.
job, Firebirds!
Let's
Congratulations,
go.
Firebirds! Big fan. Anyway, Akeem last played in the 2019-2020 season in the Czech Extraliga. Yeah, so
Okay.
he's back both in North America and playing professional hockey. But yes, so playoff berths, those are getting kind of solidified. Those are our two clinching
I
scenarios on
think
Friday.
I think with probably in the next week or so, if Wilkes-Barre can hang on, they too will clinch their spot.
Yeah, I think we're going to be looking at the same repeat offenders coming down to the wire that we do every year in the North, TBH.
Did Providence clinch already? No, Providence hasn't clinched already.
All right, let's see. There's the AHL helpfully
Yeah,
has a playoff primer.
yeah, they do.
Looking for Providence and whether they
God,
clinched.
I don't want that. Yeah, the only two clinching scenarios right now are Milwaukee and Coachella.
Yep. Providence has not clinched yet. Looks like the only one that is for certain
As Hershey.
is Hershey. But again, like we knew that.
Yeah, we knew that back in November.
But yeah, so the Rocket are at 62 points. And then Belleville and Toronto are both at 65.
Okay. So
So,
you got a little bit of a race going on there.
but that's both of the teams that the Rocket are playing this weekend. Yay!
Wilkes-Barre is playing Syracuse, which it's different divisions but same conference. Wilkes-Barre is currently at 71 points. Syracuse is at 74, and then I also believe the Penguins are playing Utica this weekend as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Utica's at 60 again. Hens are at 71.
Interesting. Interesting.
Um,
Would you like to hear the matchups if the playoffs started today?
sure.
Right, sweet. So in the Atlantic, you've got the Penguins and the Phantoms, and then the Checkers and the Wolfpack. Obviously, Hershey and Providence would get the bye through. Then the Senators would have to play the Marlies. Cleveland would get the bye, and then Syracuse and the Americans would play in that second round. And it's Stars versus the Moose to figure out that wild card spot. Then the winner of that would go play the Admirals, and the Griffins and the Ice Hogs would battle it out. And then, right, the Eagles and the Canucks versus the Roadrunners and the Wranglers and the Rain and the Condors. So we'd have two California teams battling it out. Obviously, Coachella Valley would go through, and then the weird seating thing. But yeah, so that's where we would be if the playoffs started today. So you can see how close it is. So yeah, I honestly, if the Rocket want to not disappoint me again, they just need to climb ahead of Toronto and Belleville,
and get 1,000 PIMs.
They have to. They're going to. They got 3 games, right? Rocket Senators, Rocket Marlies. They got 3 and 3.
Yeah,
that's more than enough for
Lehigh
15 PIMs.
I believe Lehigh has 2 games this weekend. My Wilkes-Barre boys, they don't really take many penalties, so
they should get on that. It's more fun that way.
We don't really have fighters per se.
Well, how are they supposed to develop their penalty kill skills if they're not ever put on the penalty kill?
The penalty kill's actually decent. I think. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I'm looking, okay? I'm looking. Leave me alone.
Can you even see? You did poke your eye out.
I did poke my eye out.
What you got?
They're 3rd in the conference for their PK.
Interesting. All right. Well.
Power play, however, is...
So they need to
what I have
more penalties
about. Power play is atrocious, but
all right. Well, would you like to throw some hot takes about who's going to win this weekend?
As always, I want the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins to win.
Correct.
Just makes everybody's life easier. The Bears are always going to win, so there's no use in trying to figure that out.
Personally, I think it would be hilarious if the Gulls won and Bakersfield holds the Firebirds without any points. I think that would be hilarious.
Yeah. Silver Knights, let's go, I guess.
Well, see, but okay, so let's go wild. Let's just let the Admirals clinch that playoff berth, because that's just good job, Milwaukee. You got beer. You got nautical-themed sports teams.
You won 19 in a row before you got taken down by the Grand Rapids Griffins.
You deserve it. You go, Admirals. You deserve it. I'm a big Admirals fan today. Not tomorrow, though. Actually, tomorrow, because that's when they need it, because that's Friday, and this is Thursday.
Not Saturday, though. Saturday, you're not a fan.
Personally, I think that the Roadrunners and the Barracuda are going to institute the league's first tie in however many while.
Okay.
I think they're going to somehow break the space-time continuum and just make it happen somehow. If anybody can do it, it's the Roadrunners and the Barracuda.
Yeah.
Can't even argue with that one.
No, I can't.
I think it's going to be a rough weekend for the Rocket. I truly think it's going to be a rough weekend for the Rocket.
I remember Andrew saying last season if Chicago and Grand Rapids could find a way to both lose, they would have. So that's Tucson and Barracuda this season.
Yeah, no, going up against the Senators, going up against the Marlies. Like I said, the Rocket have been stringing together some wins, but I think if they find those wins, it's still going to be really hard fought for them.
No, I mean, we're coming straight down to the wire. It's going to come down to the very last day.
Yeah, the North is always the one where we're like, can somebody please just clinch the final playoff spot, please?
Yeah, no.
Like, we're always waiting on the North, and I think these are the three teams that are battling it out for that, like those final two playoff positions. And like I said, it's what 62, 6, and 65. That's 3 points separating them.
Yeah.
That's just a couple wins from both teams.
I mean,
for that last playoff spot.
It's the same with the Atlantic. It's just the Atlantic has been so tight for the last, God, I don't even know how many years now.
Decade at least.
Yeah. This is the same story over and over and over again. I mean, Lehigh held on to 7th for what felt like 3-4 months now. Pens have been holding on to 3rd for most of the season. But it's really nice to see the season that they're having, because last year was dismal.
I was going to say rough.
It was very rough for them.
Yeah.
So that's my roommate. She's talking to her dogs. She has a blue heeler mix and a Frenchie.
All right. Stubborn. All right. Any more wild predictions you've got for this weekend?
I'm gonna be tired by 3 p.m. on Sunday.
Well, yeah, I work all weekend.
3-3 games. 2 weekends in a row. Sure, let's go with it.
Yeah, I work all weekend, and also it's Palm Sunday.
Oh, that's right. Easter's next Sunday.
All
right.
So
I gotta go pay homage to the parents that day.
Well, I'm not Catholic, so I just know that Easter's coming up, which means that we have to start getting ready for holiday weekend. Although I do think Easter I get paid time and a half, so next week I'll get time and a half, which you could convince me to work on a Sunday for time and a half.
I would.
Honestly.
You can go to Montreal for a Habs game.
Sure. I need a passport. I do not have a passport is the problem.
Gotta work on that.
Yeah. So that's where we are. That's where I am.
I don't have any
stuck here.
Do you have any hot takes?
I don't. My takes are always correct. So they're lukewarm at best.
All right. Well, Andrew's not here to give his hot takes, nor would he.
He's also not here. I don't like it without Andrew here. Who am I supposed to make fun of? You and I both make so much rational sense. Like, who are we supposed to make fun of the entire time?
We don't have anybody to bully.
Exactly. I could bully myself if we'd like.
I don't like it. Let's get Corey Chesney in here.
Where is Corey Chesney? We're gonna get the very first pod crossover.
But all right, so that's the end of the episode, I guess, because we don't have any other hot takes to speak about.
Yeah. Sorry. No bullying today. Technology.
I bullied myself by poking my eye.
That's true. Minimal bullying today. Technology friendly-ish today. We're gonna kick it over to Drew for some editing. Maybe he'll throw his thoughts in there. This is a suggestion. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Andrew, you put your thoughts in there as like a voiceover kind of record scratch, freeze frame. Hi, this is me. I bet you're wondering how I got there kind of thing. Just You're editing. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you like production value.
I like it. Yeah, he should. He should freeze frame himself and just be like, yeah, see, Sam pokes her eye out on a daily basis type of thing.
Tell us how we're wrong. And then we get to defend ourselves in the Twitter replies. Sorry, X, formerly Twitter.
It's still Twitter.
Anyway, that's all I got.
All right. Well, have a good night, everybody. Until next week.
Au revoir.